Mongoose Jake here with another unboxing of a recent Busby blaster release under their Adventure Force label. Of course, this time, as you can clearly see, it's the Frantic Fury. Now, I've just recently done the Agitator in an unboxing and initial review, and this is its cousin blaster, we'll call it, featuring what's supposed to be the exact same blaster internals and shell, and even the functional stock that extends, as well as a pump grip, this time a vertical pump grip instead of horizontal. And this thing also comes with the flip clip, which again, it's connectable magazines that allow you to pull out, rotate it over, and use the other side to increase your capacity. Now, as it shows here, it comes with 25 pieces, which is counting the blaster, the 2 magazines, the barrel, the flip up illuminated, it's kind of a crosshair, not a red dot, but it's illuminated crosshairs. And then 20 of the long distance darts to fill both magazines. Now, again, it has extendable stock. The add-on barrel this time doesn't come with the little clips that allow it to use the barrel as a faux scope, but instead you get this sight. I actually like the look of the sight. I like Busby's previous red dot sights quite a bit, especially after I found that they were waterproofed. So this is actually going to be nice to see. I would love to see Busby put all their accessories as a separate purchasable items. But this, of course, is an Adventure Force release, available exclusively through Walmart.com, and I will put a link in the video's description so that you can find your own. Now, as long as I see nothing to surprise me, I believe I'm going to like this blaster already. But I'm going to go ahead and get it out of the package. Okay, quickly coming back to the workbench after getting everything out. I'm just going to go ahead and say, one of the neat things is actually the little sight. It does lock down so you wouldn't snap that plastic part off. But then it does flip up and hold into place. And I'm going to go into shutting my workbench lights off, but I'll leave the lights on behind me so you can see this. Just enough light to be reduced here. I'll put my hand in front of it. It illuminates it with a little LED at the bottom, and as you can see there, it actually has ranges listed. The highest one shows 20 feet, the next one down is 30, and then 50, then 70, and I'm guessing the bottom mark must be for 100. Now that's actually trying to get you to elevate your blaster to reach that. Very neat little design. It runs off of 2 AA's, which is, I'm glad to see that. That's the most common battery size that at least I have in my home, and I'm sure that goes for everybody. Now I'll turn the workbench lights back on. And again, we have the Frantic Fury, which becomes extremely long if you put this barrel on. It does the normal Busby way of threading on, which went back all the way back to the Rangemaster. But there is a bit of squeaking in the shell, which I've noticed more so than with the past Thermal Hunter and Interceptor. And I actually was able to cure that a bit when I modded up the Agitator. And just like I'll mention American Foam's video, he actually went out and bought a Frantic Fury before I got my test sample. He had some play in that stock of his. This was not present in the Agitator. The Agitator stock was much more securely mounted. So that is something to... I don't think that it's a structural, actual concern, but nobody's going to really like that. So that is the one flaw immediately. So we'll push that back in. That will lock into that position. Now, one good thing is that this stock is not as in the way of the grip, which again, by the way, this grip is similar to the Agitator. The Agitator did not have this in the way, so this is going to be a situation where you need to grab it and feel it if your hand is really big. I mean, I have an extra large or double XL size need for gloves when I buy gloves, so my hand's not small, it's oversized, and I'm running into an issue down here. Now, for who this is intended for, teens, kids, somebody with normal sized hands, it's not going to be a problem, and I do like the look of that, and I'm not so cramped that I would complain. I will say the action is decently smooth here. And It's got some good thud to it. We got all the parts here out. We got the two, again, they're called flip clips, but they're just connectable magazines. And all you have to do is to take the tabs here and attach them. Gets a nice satisfying click into place. And then you have the ability to run 10. When that runs dry, take it out, flip it over, put the other 10 in. So you have 20 rounds before you even have to actually go and do a full reload. And the trick is that while you have one up in the blaster, you can actually refill the empty side. And then you're never really out. So it's very nice thing to see, and Busby has standardized this on all of their blasters that are shipping out after the changeover. All their magazines now that are coming out so far that I've seen, and now I have at least 8 to confirm this with, different sizes, both the 10 round and the 8 round size, they all do this. That's an extremely nice little addition that's kind of went under the radar to where, hey, if you want to run down with a few of these, that's fine. That's awesome. And unlike Nerf, who charged extra and only made it to where you had to buy their flip clip and use an adapter to connect them together, this is built into the magazines. So if you don't want the feature, you can pry them apart and just use them standardized. Or put them together, click them in, click it in, and then you've got the flippable magazine. Very nice. Very neat feature. And you got the 20 darts, of course, as well as the barrel, and the handy dandy little Adventure Force Frantic Fury manual. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save this for some wall art here in the workshop. But we'll go outside, fire it a little bit, and I'm going to play with it off camera and give you my final opinions. So here we go. Okay, here we are on the outside. I have the Frantic Fury full length model here. I'm going to rest it on the porch railing, and we will take a few shots level and a few shots angled up, see what we can do. As always, the holly tree there is about 65 to 70 feet away, so gives a good rough judgment. So here we go, a few shots. Okay, hit the tree inside there. Oh, it didn't come down. And again, now we'll take a few angle shots off to the side. There we go. Just judging by where everything landed, we're looking at anywhere from short shots here of around 50 feet to longer ones that are definitely going way out to close to the 80, 90, maybe 100 foot. Because the drainage ditch back there by the road is about 120 feet away, and I'm seeing that. I am definitely seeing some get down there. So we'll head back inside. I'll give my final opinions on the whole kit. Some final opinions and observations on the Adventure Force Frantic Fury by Busby. I have some positives about this, actually quite a bit of positives, and I'm going to point out a couple of things on the negative side. After firing a couple hundred shots through it, both outside, indoors on my chronograph, and here in the workshop, I have found this thing to be a nicely powerful blaster. Now, most stock Nerf blasters fire between 65 to 70 feet per second. That's pretty much their ballpark average, whether they're a pistol or a larger blaster. This thing is averaging in the low 80s. I've fired about 30-40 shots over my chronograph, ranging anywhere from 77.8 to 91.2 feet per second. Do the math yourself if you want to see what that averages out, just using the low and high numbers. But again, that is a low 80s to middle 80s average, depending on where the curve falls. That puts this at a noticeable advantage over a Nerf blaster. And at about a $20 retail price, it's also a better value. And, okay, we can talk about numbers, but how does it feel? It's actually fairly ergonomic. Unless you have a really chunky hand, this guard is not going to get in your way. Again, XL size gloves, maybe 2X in some brands. My hand fits in there just fine. The front grip feels good too. The action is smooth. The magazine system works nicely. You can actually clip them around and orient them, and yes, you can work them free without damaging them. So you can orient it where the arrow is pointing this way, and if you want your other one underneath to be oriented the same, well, you can do that because the tabs are on both sides. So you can orient them both to be aiming the same way, to keep your confusion down during use. So you pull one out, okay, It's in there. Flip it over, and it goes straight back in the other way. Ready to fire? There you go. And then pop it off from the bottom. And Busby's made all of their magazines now, so far, that I have seen, in all of the new releases, with these tabs. Because I have 8-round magazines also that are the new releases, and they also included those. So far, the 10 and 8 round both do. And we'll see about some of the other magazines as we get those out for testing. Now, it has good power, good value, smooth action, pretty good ergonomics. So everything's positive so far. And it even comes with nice accessories, because I actually love this little sight. I love that it's got the range estimates on it that flips down to keep it from breaking. It's got the little light up feature, and it can be used on any Busby blaster with a rail. And then if you want it, they do include the very long barrel. The one negative so far that I found is that stock is extremely flexible. And the agitator version of the same platform, basically the same blaster, 2 different colors, sold by 2 different stores. This is a Target exclusive, this is a Walmart exclusive, with the horizontal front pump grip and then the vertical front pump grip. That one, on the agitator, the stock doesn't flex like this. This one, it's all over the place. I will mention though, even with all that flex, it's still very solid. And the rattle you're hearing is the empty magazines. They do rattle when empty. But that is solid as can be, very sturdy actually, despite its flexibleness. You know, it's not like some of the Nerf ones where they flex so much that you feel like you're going to break them or bend them. But it's like you really can't get it to force in until you hit the button, and then it claps in smoothly. And it works smoothly for the first stage or for the second stage. So the actual locking mechanism works well. And it's actually mounted in the blaster securely, just not stiffly. And those can be exclusive things. It can be in there secured where it's not going to pop out or break off, but it's still flexible. And that doesn't feel good when you're trying to prime it. So that is something negative, and while I'm a Busby fan, I am an honest Busby fan. So if something's wrong, I'm going to show you. But that's really the only negative I can find, is that stock. And that problem was not on my agitator test sample. So that's up for you to decide whether that's a deal breaker. I personally don't think so, because you can always work on that. And otherwise, I mean, the blaster itself is just fantastic otherwise. Good power. Again, if you like a vertical pump grip, this Walmart exclusive, the Adventure Force Frantic Fury, would be for you. If you prefer the horizontal pump grip, you've got the agitator through Target that you can grab. But we're focusing on this, and what can I say about this? Do I recommend it? Yes, I do. It has that one stock issue, which is not a structural, not a structural integrity issue. It's just a little bit of a nuisance. But otherwise, forgetting the stock even exists, the blaster itself is fantastic. Smooth action on the pump. Nice little sight that actually does get you to raise the front of the blaster to match up with the lines on it. So it's actually functionally viable. And it's just neat. I like the form factor quite a bit. Red's my favorite color. Red and orange. Those are my favorite 2 colors. I like the bright ones. And it works for me. And I will tinker with this thing quite a bit. So I give it a huge thumbs up. I will put the link in the description below of where you can get your own. Again, Walmart exclusive, Adventure Force Frantic Fury. It's going to be down there. And I do give it a recommendation for you to check out. Because at the price, it beats its competition. And it's one little issue. It's easy. It's probably going to be easy to fix by, maybe even just putting another screw through it or going in there and epoxying up the mount. That's a simple fix. And if you don't want to mess with it, just leave the stock in and go to town, because the blaster is good. This is Bungus Jake. Hope you enjoy this, and thank you for watching.